Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something lots of you have asked about, really getting into horse breeding within the game. We've dug into the official info to, well, help you navigate it all.
That's right. We're going to break down the essentials, how to build a stable that's not just winning now, but actually sustainable long-term through smart breeding. Whether you want that champion or just a healthy stable, this is for you.
Absolutely. And the goal here is to make it clear, maybe even a bit fun, cut through the jargon, you know,
What-
give you those aha moments for your breeding strategy. So no dusty rule books today.
Okay, let's dive in.
Right, let's start with the basics, the core mechanics.
Okay, first things first. Horses born after season 26, they have to retire from racing before they can breed. It's mandatory.
Retire first. Okay, when does that usually happen?
They can retire between ages 4 and 9, though you can actually retire them as early as age 3 if you want.
Interesting. So there's a bit of a gap between racing and breeding then.
Exactly. They need that downtime. And while they live to 25 in the game, their actual breeding window isn't quite that long. It's more like 18 to 25 years old, roughly. But that can vary a bit, especially for those postseason 26 horses.
Got it. So retirement, specific age range for breeding. When can they actually do the breeding? Is it anytime?
Nope. Very specific window. It's only open from day 8 to day 21 each season. That's it.
Day 8 to day 21. Okay, need to mark that on the calendar.
Definitely. And then the new foals, they arrive on day 1 of the next season.
And they can't race right away, I assume?
Correct. They need 2 seasons to grow up, basically.
Yeah.
So they start racing at age 2.
Makes sense, follows the seasonal cycle. What about limits? Can one stallion just breed constantly?
Nah, there are limits. Studs can breed up to 18 times per season. That's the max.
18, okay. And mares?
Mares are simpler, just once per season. And the mare owner keeps the foal, but pays the stud fee, of course.
Right, keeps things balanced.
Yeah.
Now, if I find a great match, say a stud and mare that produce a fantastic foal, can I just keep breeding them and get copies?
See, that's where the genetics come in, and it gets really interesting. No, you can't. Even the exact same pairing will give you a unique foal every single time.
Really? Why is that?
It's all down to the huge number of gene combinations possible. We'll get more into the genetics later, but yeah, always a bit of a surprise.
Keeps things exciting, I guess. Okay, so let's say I have a really good male horse. How do I make him available as a stud?
Pretty straightforward, actually. First, like we said, you retire him, go to your My Stable tab, retire the horse.
Okay, done. 10.
Then you need to send him to the breeding barn. There should be an option like put out to set or something similar right there on his profile.
All right, into the barn. Then just wait for people to pick him.
Almost. You have to set the price, and this way you need to do a little homework.
Gonna work?
Yeah, check the breeding tab in the game. See what other studs similar to yours, same grade, maybe similar stats are charging. You need to price him competitively.
Okay. Market research. Makes sense. Don't want to ask too much or too little. Are there, like, timing rules for this?
Yes, crucial ones. Your stud must be in that breeding barn before day 8, before the breeding window opens. Can't add a mid-window.
Before day 8. Got it. Anything else?
Yep. Once you put him in the barn and set the price, there's a 36-hour lock-in. You can't change the price for a day and a half.
36 hours. Okay, so be sure about that initial price.
Exactly. Plan ahead. Also, something about cooldowns.
Cool, Dad.
Yeah, the first 24 hours of the breeding season opening, there's a 10-minute cooldown between breeding attempts with the same stud.
Prevents one super popular stud from getting totally swamped instantly.
Probably, yeah. Gives
Yeah.
others a chance. And be careful if you change the price later after that 36-hour lock. It resets that cooldown, not to 10 minutes, but to a full 24 hours.
Whoa, okay, so changing the price mid-season really slows down how often he can breed for a day. Good to know.
Definitely something to factor in.
Now, the fees, how does that work? What does it cost to use a stud?
There's a standard structure based on the stud's grade. If he's S or lower, it's 1,000 Derby.
Okay.
Grade S is 3,000 Derby.
Right.
S plus, or SS studs, cost 4,000 Derby.
Getting up there.
And the top tier, the SS grade studs, they go for 8,000 Derby.
8,000. Wow. Okay, so that's the price listed. Does the stud owner get all of that?
Nope.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 split. The stud owner gets half.
And the other half.
Goes to third-time games, the developers. But they use it to fund things like free roll tournaments and community stuff, so it goes back into the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a nice system. Rewards good studs, but also supports the community.
Okay, let's flip it. What if I have a mare I want to breed?
Similar start. First, she has to be retired from racing.
Retired mare, check.
Then you go to my stable, Click on her, and there should be a button like breed horse. Click that, and it takes you to the stud market.
Okay, easy enough. And then just pick one.
Well, this is where the strategy comes in. You need to look carefully. Consider your mare's grade, her stats, her preferences, like what track surfaces she likes.
Right, you want a good match. Exactly. The general advice. Aim for a stud that's at least the same grade as your mare, or ideally a higher grade. And you want his stats and preferences to complement hers, or improve on the areas where she might be weaker.
So if I have a good dirt mare, I probably shouldn't breed her to a turf specialist if I want another dirt horse.
Precisely. You're trying to build on her strengths or shore up weaknesses. Now, something else the game helps with is inbreeding.
Inbreeding, how does that work here?
The game will actually show you a warning if a potential stud shares common ancestors with your mare, going back to the great-grandparents.
Oh, it flags it. That's handy.
Yeah, and the standard advice is avoid it. Unless you're really experienced in trying some advanced, maybe risky strategy, can sometimes bring out unexpected traits, not always good ones.
Okay, so for most of us, steer clear of the inbreeding warning. Good tip. But there must be tons of studs. How do you find the right one?
Filters. The marketplace has filters. You can narrow it down by racing preferences, track directions, surface condition, all that.
That helps?
And crucially, you can filter by specific performance stats. So if you really want to improve, say, the finish stat, you can look for studs strong in that area.
Very useful for targeted breeding. Is there any way to get, like, a preview of the potential foal?
Sort of. You could buy something called a breeding report for a specific pairing you're considering.
What's in the report?
It definitely includes that inbreeding check, which is good confirmation.
Yeah.
It might also give some general hints about the genetic potential, but it doesn't lay out all the genes. Keeps a mystery.
Right. A small cost for maybe avoiding a bad match. Okay, so I've done my research, used the filters, maybe bought a report, found the perfect stud.
Well,
Then what?
Then you just confirm the breed in the game, pay the fee, and boom, she's pregnant.
And the foal arrives next season, day 1. Got it. And the fee, just to be clear, that's also split 50-50.
Yep, same deal. If the stud fee is $4,000 Derby, you pay $4,000. The stud owner gets $2,000, and Third Time Games gets the other $2,000. Consistent split.
Okay, cool. So we've got the mechanics down. What about, like, actual strategies, tips for success?
Well, a really common one is breeding up. People take lower grade mares and breed them with higher grade studs. Maybe ones that are priced a bit lower than the top tier.
Trying to get better genes into the stable affordably.
Exactly. Cost-effective improvement.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting counterpoint in the game's info.
Oh, what's that?
It suggests that for lower grade horses, you might actually get better breeding results if you race them longer before retiring them.
Race them longer. Why?
The idea, maybe, is that their racing performance somehow helps, I don't know, solidify or express their good genetic traits, making them more likely to pass those on. It's not super explicit, but it's a fascinating thought. Maybe performance matters?
Huh. So not just about the grade on paper, but maybe their career, too. Interesting. What else?
The star ratings. Pay close attention to the star ratings for attributes. If you want to improve a specific thing, like, say, stamina,
Yeah.
the stud you pick should ideally have a better star rating for stamina attributes than your mare does. That significantly boosts your chances of the foal inheriting better stamina.
Target the specific traits you want with higher rated studs in those areas. Makes sense. Like, give me an example.
Okay, say you want a better sprinter. Your mare is decent, maybe B+ for start and speed.
Right.
You'd actively look for studs with an A or even A+ in start and speed. Pairing those superior sprinting stats gives you a much better shot at getting a foal that's genuinely fast out of the gate and down the stretch. Identify the goal, find the stud that matches.
Got it. Very focused. We mentioned breeding reports for inbreeding. Any other reason to use them?
Yeah, besides the inbreeding check, they give you a bit more of an overview of the potential genetics. Not everything, but it can help you spot potentially bad combos or just give you a bit more confidence in a pairing. Another tool, basically.
Worth considering. Now, the game mentions a lineage cup. What's that about?
Yeah, that's a special race, high stakes, only open to horses that were bred using premium breeding methods.
Premium breeding, so like higher quality pairings.
Essentially, yes. It rewards players who invest in those careful, higher-tier breeding decisions. Winning the Lineage Cup's a big deal, so it's another reason to aim high with your breeding strategy. Gives those well-bred foals a prestigious race to target.
A long-term goal for serious breeders. Nice. And it also mentioned third-party tools.
Oh yeah, the community's amazing. People have built external tools to help with breeding analysis. The docs mention one that color codes the breeding reports, for example.
Color codes. How does that help?
Probably makes it easier to see potential strengths and weaknesses, like at a glance, instead of just reading stats. The community is super dedicated. Definitely worth checking out those tools if you want to go deep.
Awesome that the community does that. Okay, let's peek under the hood a bit. The genetics. How does that actually work?
It's complex, but the basics are like real life. Foals get genes from both parents. Every horse has 2 sets of genes for every trait, 1 set from mom, 1 from dad.
2 sets. Okay.
And the combination of those genes determines, well, everything. Speed, stamina, agility, track preferences, even what they look like and how they age.
So the foal gets a mix.
Exactly. But here's the key. When a horse breeds, it only passes on 1 gene from each of its pairs, not both.
Ah, so it's random which one of the pair gets passed down.
Precisely. The stud has 2 genes for, say, start, but only passes 1 to the foal. The mare does the same. So even if the parents are amazing, the foal might get a less ideal combination, or maybe an even better one.
That explains why breeding the same pair gives different results.
Totally. Because with all the different traits and gene pairs, the number of possible combinations is astronomical. The game says over 1 trillion.
1 trillion. Wow. No wonder each foal is unique. So just to recap, what kinds of things do genes control?
Speed, agility, stamina, track preferences, surface condition, direction looks, aging rate, pretty much the whole horse profile.
Sounds incredibly complicated. Do I need a PhD in genetics to breed horses in this game?
No, thankfully not. That's the beauty of it. The system is complex underneath. But actually, doing the breeding in the game is simple. Own a retired mare, pick a stud you think is a good match based on what you can see, pay the fee, wait for the foal.
Okay, phew. Don't need to map out genomes myself.
Nope. You could be very successful just by focusing on the visible stats, grades, preferences, and using things like the breeding reports.
Good to know. Now, there were a couple other things mentioned. 11 Bloodo. What's that?
Yeah, the docs mention it and link out to more info. Since it wasn't explained in our main source here, it's probably best if listeners interested in that follow the link in the game guides. Sounds like a more advanced bloodline thing.
Fair enough. Stick to what we know. What about exchanging horses for a report?
Oh yeah, that's a neat option. If you have horses just sitting in the pasture, not racing or breeding, you can exchange 20 of them for 1 free breeding report.
20 horses for 1 report.
Could be useful if you have a lot of retired horses piling up. A way to get value from them, get some intel for your next breeding without spending derby.
Clever recycling system. And finally, the Discord server. Why join that?
Oh, definitely recommend it. It's the main community hub. Great place to ask questions we didn't cover, talk to experienced breeders, get tips, share your successes or near misses. Just tons of knowledge sharing there.
Community power. Always valuable. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from all this.
Right. So number 1, retirement comes before breeding for those post-S26 horses. Number 2, choosing the right stud is key. Think grades, stats, preferences. Complement your mare.
Got it.
3, know the breeding window, day 8 to 21, and understand the fee structure, that 50-50 split. 4, genetics are complex, making every foal unique, but you don't need to be a scientist to breed successfully. Use the tools available.
Excellent summary. So armed with all this, hopefully our listeners feel way more confident about diving into breeding, building up their stables, maybe even finding that next superstar.
Exactly. That next champion could literally be 1 strategic click away in the breeding barn. The potential is huge.
So here's something to think about. With those variable breeding ages kicking in and the sheer randomness of those trillions of gene combos, what kind of long-term breeding strategy will you use? How will you find the next generation of champions? Definitely dig deeper. Check out those community tools. Hit up the Discord. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.